And welcome back to the final episode of Focus on Tomorrow. For those who don't know, Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization which is located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. And today, being the final episode of our season, we are featuring Focus on Tomorrow.
Whoa.
Isn't that something? And here with me we have Will Barroso, who is the director of Focus on Tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for coming, Will.
No, thank you for having me.
No,
I
thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
I feel like I almost strong-armed you to be on this show. But...
I know, definitely. All right, so the main question we all want to know is, what is the mission behind Focus on Tomorrow?
Well, basically, Focus on Tomorrow exists to create programs, education programs for high school students that create skills that they'll be using for many years to come. At least we hope that they will. Our programs revolve around video production. I've been in the television industry most of my life, so video production is kind of what I know. But we basically exist to nurture and create creative skills within these kids. We host most of our programs here in Chicago, but yeah, we're hoping to branch out.
And how exactly, how did it start? What really inspired you to work with Focus on Tomorrow?
Yeah, Focus on Tomorrow didn't start as an education nonprofit. We actually started fundraising for my own high school. I'm from Miami, Florida, so a little bit of background there. I went to high school down there, and the high school that I went to had a state-of-the-art television production program that most kids would just die to be a part of. And one day when I went back to Miami to visit my parents, I visited the school and I found out that the program that I was a part of that was incredibly influential in my life no longer existed. Just, poor funding within the state and the education system down there in Florida. So I, sent out some pictures of the abandoned control room and the studio that we had there on Facebook. And some of the alumni got together and said, hey, we got to do something about this, and I started realizing at that point how important of a program that really was, because I started to meet all these other people that had graduated from my high school in later years that had become very, very successful within television and film, the same. So we all got together. We all realized this program changed a lot of our lives. Let's do something. And we started fundraising to rebuild it, and we did. The program is back up and running at G. Holmes Braddock Senior High School. And we're very proud of that. But once that program was operational again, we were left with this nonprofit on our hands, and we were like, well, now what do we do? So, while we were fundraising, we met a lot of students at Braddock, and we had this one-on-one, impact on them. And it was very, very rewarding, and we wanted to sort of continue that. So we thought, why not build programs that would allow us to sort of pass on what we know to other kids, and sort of impact them the same way that we were impacting the kids at Braddock.
And teaching these type of kids the TV industry. You said you were in the TV industry for how many years now?
Oh, probably close to 20.
And you worked with ABC, am I right?
Yeah, I was at ABC Television here in Chicago for 11 years.
So now you working at ABC for 11 years, do you think, your professional background really helps some of these students with TV?
Definitely. I've been fortunate enough to work in different aspects of television. I've been both on the production side and on the business side. So I have a well-rounded knowledge of how TV works. What I learned on the business side helps me personally because now I'm running a business. But what I learned on the production side helps the kids learn what they're most interested in. The kids don't want to learn how to work Excel and I make journal entries, but they are interested in lighting. They are interested in how the camera operates. They are interested in editing. So that's I use that part of my background to sort of do what I do now.
But it kind of benefits them because you were in the professional level, so you're teaching them the highest quality.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess whenever I do tell some of the kids that I came from ABC Television, and I've worked at Univision in Miami. It sort of does gives me credibility. But to me, that's neither here nor there. I mean, what I want is for the kids to just sort of express themselves, and do it in a way that is fulfilling to them and sort of puts their own character out there. If they can accomplish that, that's really what I'm aiming for.
So it just gives them a window, basically, to show their creativity and their work in the TV production.
Exactly. Yeah, the television industry is changing, and anyone who's in the industry will tell you that the kids or young adults, let me say, that are getting into the industry now have their work cut out for them. But still, what I teach is sort of storytelling skills, creative skills on editing platforms, and I think that will transcend any changes that the television industry goes through.
So going into the program that you run, what does it consist of? How many students do you work with? How does that work?
Wow. I don't know exactly what the number of students are that I work with. We have a few programs. We start out, the most basic program is an in-school television production program. It's held at Innovations High School. Innovations High School is a charter school that's part of the Youth Connection charter school system. This high school basically hires Focus on Tomorrow to come in and teach 2 periods of television production. And we teach the kids how to edit basically on iMovie, and then the more advanced kids, learn on Final Cut Pro 7. But the kids are basically learning how to storytell. They're learning how to write scripts. They're learning how to develop their ideas on paper and then move that into a visual platform. But yeah, the kids at Innovation High School are our most basic level group. Then we move into an after-school program, which has partnered with After School Matters. That program allows kids to be a little bit more free with their creativity, because they're not confined to a classroom. They actually have the ability to go out. They can shoot video on the streets. They can go into local businesses. They have a little bit more creative freedom. That group is about 15 kids, and it lasts about 10 weeks, and then it changes. We have a new group of 15 students. And then, of course, the curriculum changes as well, because some of the kids come back. So you can't just teach the same thing over and over and over, because some of the kids that are returning have already acquired some of those skills, and you've got to keep them challenged, right? So, we look for new ways to challenge those kids, which is kind of how this program that you're watching right now sort of came to be, right? I mean, Uriel was one of our first students at Focus on Tomorrow. We work with high school students. Uriel has graduated high school. So he stuck around, and we didn't want to, keep him doing the same thing over and over again. So we looked for new ways to challenge him. And what better way to challenge him than with a 26-minute live television show? So CanTV became, a new program for us. So yeah, we work with a bunch of students at a variety of different levels, and our goal is to keep them moving from one level to the next, so that they can continue to develop and get to wherever they want to be. Some of these kids want to just learn how to operate a camera, and then maybe move on to something else, like, glass making or something like that.
Glass making?
Yeah, After School Matters offers a lot of really cool programs, and, some of them come to us for just, basic introduction to video production. But those of, like you, who really, want to do this professionally and want to keep this going, we hope that they can just move along the ladder, I guess.
So, going back to After School Matters, when a student is working with After School Matters, they actually get a chance to get paid for what they're doing, right?
They do.
How exactly, let's talk about the curriculum. How exactly do you guys set it up for the students? Because I know sometimes, some kids are at a higher level than other students in some of the TV curriculum. So how exactly do you set it up for the students?
That's a good question. So what we basically do is we try to separate those students and have them work on different projects that are a little bit more advanced. But often some of these older kids feel like they get something out of helping the younger kids. So sometimes their projects become sort of assisting the younger students with their projects. And they become mentors by default. And while they're not at that point developing higher editing skills, they are definitely learning something different. You know, they're learning how to work with younger students. They're learning leadership skills. You know, they're learning what it feels like to have someone look up to them, and that's a big responsibility. So you know, we let that just happen. You know, organically. You know, and I do notice that a lot of kids appreciate that experience.
And you see a lot of the creativity from the kids in After School Matters, right?
Oh my goodness, they're so unbelievable because the way we start our sessions is we have like this sort of powwow where we just gather and talk about what we're going to work on within our videos. And usually I don't know, I always go into these sessions imagining that the kids are going to come in and be like, well, I want to do a piece on the Hunger Games, you know, my favorite movie or my favorite music album or something like that, but they don't. They always come up with these like incredibly in-depth ideas that intimidate me, and I'm like
what though? How does it exactly intimidate you? I mean, you come from a field of TV. I'm pretty sure you worked with all types of big
one
time
student
people.
wanted to interview President Obama. I'm like, are you kidding? No. So yeah, there is a lot of reining in that I have to do, but. No, their ideas are very advanced, and these high school students today are much more mature than I ever was as a high school student. So I'm usually quite pleased, you know, with the experience because the kids, you know, are very bright, and you're right, they're very creative, and I'm always thrilled to see, you know, where they take these ideas.
But don't you see how crazy it's evolving? Because I mean, how you started off. Remember how you came to my high school and you were saying how you were gonna grab like a student from each school, and so you saw us, you know, from Kelly High School, which is pretty cool. I mean, and it's crazy how you see how Focus on Tomorrow is just evolving from the students, and you see the type of like creativity that each student is bringing to the table. Right. And doesn't that just like amaze you sometimes?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It does totally amaze me. The kids are something else, and I have learned that even though you have a plan, you can't stick to that plan because sometimes the kids take you in another direction, and you have to be flexible. And I think that that's one of the coolest parts of what I do. You have to be spontaneous.
Right.
So yeah.
And like, I mean, like connecting with After School Matters, I mean, does it really relate a lot to Innovations High School? I mean, if you could talk more about Innovations High School, the connections that you have with Focus on Tomorrow in there?
It doesn't. You know, After School Matters doesn't really connect with Innovations High School. However, I do try to see which one of the students at Innovation High School are interested in video production, and then I try to steer them in the direction of the After School Matters program.
And we actually have a caller. Caller, what is your question or comment?
Good evening, gentlemen. You guys exactly don't have total freedom because you guys do go through some censorship. And I give you an example. I think one of the people on your committee wanted to do an article on Jones College Prep, and it stated so far it's one of the most expensive high schools that have been built so far when all the resources going to one side of town when the other side of town is not getting their fair share of resources. So like I said, you guys don't have full freedom to write or put on what you want to.
Well, that is true. That is true. And you know what? I don't work with Jones College Prep.
I'm just saying because it's one of the most one of your people that one on the staff, they wanted to do an article about that, and they couldn't because that would have stirred some controversy when certain parts of town are getting resources while other parts of town is not getting a lot of resources. There's a difference than night and day.
Yeah, that is true. And you know, a lot of the kids that I work with come from neighborhoods that have had schools shut down.
Right.
Okay. You know, so no, that is absolutely not foreign to us. We work with a lot of students who can't even come to our program because they don't have bus fare. the resources are not allocated fairly among the different schools, especially within CPS. But I think that that's, first of all, a topic for a completely different show. What we try to do at Focus on Tomorrow is try to reach a lot of the students who don't have access to those resources. You know, again, I'm going to use Uriel as an example. You went to Kelly High School, and when I went to Kelly High School to visit for the first time, I was shocked by how
limited resources.
Yeah, how stripped down that this program was. I mean, they had a television production program, but they didn't have access to the high-end equipment that I was used to growing up with. When I went to Westinghouse on the west side, they have a state-of-the-art facility. So it's completely unfair. But, you know, we try to reach as many kids as we possibly can. The school that we work at during the day, Innovation High School, has absolutely nothing. I mean, I'm telling you, we have a classroom with a green screen, a couple small, tiny little video cameras, and some microphones, and that's it. And, you know, we try to make everything work. And, you know, I've gotten to the point where I bring in my own computers so that some of the students have access to like things like Final Cut Pro 7. And you know what? These kids really, really appreciate it. They are creative. They want to learn, and that's something I've definitely learned within this venture, is that these kids want to learn. They want information, and that just keeps me moving forward.
And honestly, that really goes for everybody too, for whichever high school you're from. I mean, that's what Focus on Tomorrow really brings, right? It brings the resources and it brings the opportunity for a kid to bring out his best in his creativity.
Right. Exactly. And you know, we're just trying to reach as many kids as we possibly can. We are brand new at this. We've been around for 2 years, and already we have, you know, some clients that have allowed us to reach more kids than we had at the beginning. Right at the beginning, we had
definitely.
7 kids. I don't know how many we have right now, but it's a lot more than that. So yeah, no, I think we're definitely trying to do our part at least.
Yeah, of course. And you know, coming from starting up, you also work with the High Frequency TV, right?
Yes.
Can you talk to us
the
about
High
that?
Frequency TV program was basically the same After School Matters program that we have right now. But before we partnered with After School Matters, we just worked with random kids, you know, from the community who just wanted to be a part of something. There was very little structure to it. It was the first program we had. We started it in a courtyard. And we would just get together with these kids and ask them to develop their ideas, and we would try to bring them to life as best we can. We've come a long way since then, but yeah, that the High Frequency program was was definitely a pioneer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you do you really think like Focus on Tomorrow has changed or inspired some of these kids' lives?
Oh, absolutely. One student of mine, which is really why I wanted to do this full time. One of my first students, I won't mention him by name, but he knows who he is. He didn't want to go to college. He told me that he was only doing this because his friends were doing this, and that's why he was a part of our video production program. So I asked him what he wanted to do if it wasn't video production, and he said he wanted to work in a kitchen. He actually worked at a kitchen already. He wanted to keep moving up those ranks. So I worked with him. Till he was blue in the face, and he couldn't stand to hear about college anymore. And he actually enrolled in a college, in a culinary school, and he's there now. And as far as I know, he's continued to move up the ladder at his own restaurant, and he's really happy. So, you know, getting kids onto the right path is my only mission. Again, I only use video production because it's what I know. I've spent close to 20 years in the television world, but really, whether or not kids go into TV or, you know, film, it's irrelevant to me. I just want, you know, kids to find direction through their own creativity.
That's the best way to put it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
So
That's it.
not only you have Chicago plans, but you also have some stuff going on in Miami, right?
Yeah,
Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, since I am from Miami, I thought that it would be a good idea to start a program down there. So in 2 weeks, we are starting an after-school program in Miami, Florida, that will sort of mirror what we do here in Chicago with After School Matters. And we're working with 15 kids from I think it's like 7 or 8 different schools.
Oh, wow.
Down there, and it's being taught by a reporter that works at the local ABC television station in South Florida. Her name is Christina Vasquez, and we're really proud that we have gotten this off the ground, and now we're in 2 cities. So
Maybe
yeah,
more, right? Maybe
yeah,
more. That's the
it's
fun
really
thing.
exciting. I mean, it's not so much, just working with a small group of kids. I mean, we're trying to reach as many as possible. And if I have a volunteer in Kansas City who wants to teach a class, I will try to
Reach out to them.
reach out there to them and help them put it together and put it under the Focus on Tomorrow umbrella. We just want to reach kids. We want to help kids find their way.
So, going into Focus Tomorrow, what kind of events do you guys have?
Well, we're planning a fundraiser for May. We don't have too many details just yet, but there will be some more information on our website, www.focus-on-tomorrow.org. But we do have our After School Matters program, which is starting back up again in February. So you can register for the Focus on Tomorrow video production program by logging on to the After School Matters website. Anyone who is in a high school in Chicago can be a part of the program. Doesn't matter if it's a CPS school or a charter school or a private school. You can just go on to After School Matters website, become a member, and then look for our program, Focus on Tomorrow.
And to give you a quick overhead, Focus on Tomorrow, like I said, is a nonprofit organization which is located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web, as Will said, at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. And now we have one more interviewer to kill out the show. And here with us, we have Brandon. Brandon, how are you, Brandon?
Good.
For those who know, Brandon is Will's son, so don't get too
Yeah.
full. You see the resemblance. You can see the cuteness there.
I
right?
just pick up kids. Yeah.
So, Brandon, how old are you, buddy?
I'm 6.
What? You're 6? You're so big now, man. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah.
What did you have for Christmas? Like, what was your favorite present that you had for Christmas?
Spy goggles.
Spy goggles. Spy goggles?
What do those do?
What do those do?
You could see in the dark with them, and it has this thing that when you look through it, things that are small look big.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's your favorite Christmas gift?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I gotta be careful, man. Make sure you don't spy on me. So, do you attend Focus on Tomorrow with your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah? What kind of things do you guys do? Like, do you learn all types of cool stuff there?
Well, I play on the iPad, but sometimes I look up to see what Daddy's doing.
Oh, yeah? So, what have you learned from your dad so far from Focus?
I've learned that the kids work really hard.
They work kids really hard because it's hard, right? It's hard
Yeah.
with video production, right? And you gotta put a lot of time into it, right?
Yeah.
And you see that, right? So do you think making videos is really cool?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because you get to edit, and it is really cool.
Editing is really cool.
Yeah.
So is that why you like being on TV?
Yeah.
Why do you like being on TV?
I like being on TV because everybody could see me.
And for those who have questions, you can call us now at 312-738-1060 for, Brandon can answer any type of questions you guys want. So, Brandon, I hear you're making your own movies now. Am I right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about your movies that you're making. Can you tell us about one?
Yeah.
Tell us it.
Me and Daddy made a movie this morning, and
Daddy, you made a movie with Brandon?
Yeah, what's it
And-
about?
it's about me, and I'm playing with toys, and I can't find a toy to play with, and then I jump through this portal, and it leads me to a dinosaur's bedroom.
So that's what you're editing right now?
No, I'm done.
You're done? So you're ahead of the game already?
Yeah.
Really? So is there any tips you could give the kids who are trying to learn video production? What can you tell them?
Learn to edit.
Learn to edit, right?
Learn to
Yeah.
edit.
Why don't you tell them the type of editing program that you learned?
Final.
Final Cut Pro 7.
Final Cut Pro 7?
Yeah.
You know colleges use that, and when your dad worked, he actually used Final Cut Pro 7?
I didn't know
You're
that.
ahead of the game, man.
So I think we have 1 minute left.
Yes, we have about 1 minute
What do you
left.
want to be when you grow up?
I want to be an artist.
You want to be the artist? Why do you want to be an artist?
Because I really like drawing.
And
Because you like drawing?
Yeah.
And so this is the thing. I mean, Brandon does like to make movies, and I've never heard Brandon say that he wants to be a director or he wants to be a photographer or anything like that. But he likes to make movies, and we use that to just sort of nurture creativity at Focus on Tomorrow. So I do bring him to my classes. I hope that he'll continue just expressing himself. But whatever he wants to do, just like any of our other students, whatever they want to do, we hope that they'll take some of our skills and take them with them, for forever.
And join Focus, guys. Join Focus. Don't be shy. Focus is a really good opportunity to show you type of skills in TV. So, for those who don't know, Focus on Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization which is located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us at the web at www.focus-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org again. And once again, this is Will, this is Brandon, and I'm Uriel. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching Focus on Tomorrow.